All right, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is Details Emerge of Secret Diplomatic Efforts to Restart Iran Talks. All right, let's do it. Let's check it out.
Just how much damage did U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear sites truly do? This morning, House lawmakers will receive their classified briefings on the strikes after it was delayed earlier this week. Yesterday, senators emerged from their briefing divided, largely along party lines. And CNN has exclusive reporting that the U.S. has secretly been trying to get Iran back to the negotiating table before and after those strikes. Joining me now, CNN Global Affairs commentator Sabrina Singh. Thank you so much for being here. I want to talk about this new reporting that we've gotten from our reporters here at CNN. Several sources saying that the Trump administration has discussed possibly helping Iran access as much as $30 billion to build a civilian energy producing nuclear program, easing sanctions, and freeing up billions of dollars in restricted Iranian funds to get Iran back to the negotiating table.
Yeah, bro, that sounds like a lot. I mean a lot. Okay, I mean, I get it. Biden did something similar in terms of like easing up the sanctions, along with like delivering about $16 billion back to them, let's say. But bro, this sounds like a lot.
And I'm curious, because of your tenure at the Pentagon, is this similar to the deal President Obama cut with Iran back in 2015 that halted, at the time, Iran's push towards a nuclear weapon?
There's similar contours to what the President Obama had originally proposed and what was ultimately signed in that first nuclear deal that ultimately the Trump administration pulled out of. There was some concessions when it came to, of course, sanctions. And of course, that deal limited the enriched uranium that Iran was being able to produce at that time. Now, since the first Trump administration pulled the United States out of that deal, Iran has, of course, sped ahead and continued to enrich uranium levels. And so the deal that is now being proposed that's on the table is very similar to the deal that was proposed before the United States conducted those strikes over the weekend on those 3 nuclear facilities. I think the big thing here that I'm watching is before those strikes and, the rhetoric that we've heard out of Iran is that they are drawing the line. They have a red line when it comes to enriched uranium. They want to keep continuing to do that. But now they are in such a different and weakened state, economically and militarily. And of course, their air defenses have been taken out, that this might be a little bit of the United States saying, okay, let's check your bluff and let's see what you're willing to negotiate on right now.
I want to ask you a little bit deeper on that question. Iran's supreme leader has come out and spoke for the first time since the U.S. strikes, saying that Iran succeeded in destroying the enemy's capabilities. Not true.
Yeah, right.
He also said U.S. strikes in Iran were not much more than, as he put it, Trump's, quote, showmanship.
Right.
He's speaking as if
He's a good talker.
Has changed in Iran. We know that it has.
Right.
But no matter how much damage the nuclear facilities have, isn't Iran really between a rock and a hard place at this point in time, knowing that the threat of more strikes is still there?
Mm-hmm. At any moment.
I think absolutely, and you characterize that accurately. Iran is definitely in between a rock and a hard place. I think their senior leadership knows that, but at the end of the day, they are going to have to message to their people a position of strength. And so you're seeing some of that propaganda being messaged to the Iranian people to show, that the United States didn't have any effect on our capabilities. But we know the reality.
Right. Guys, hold on. What's interesting is that I know that the president was he looked at this, obviously. He saw the translations and was like, oh, okay, right? But we need to understand that they are, in fact, another sovereign nation, all right? And they have to maintain some semblance of authority, let's say. And so now what's going on here is that, and because it is who it is, the supreme leader, the Ayatollah, in fact, is a... Don't listen to this man, okay? Long story short, don't listen to him at all. He says as much as he possibly can say to kind of rile up his base for the most part, and the majority of it is not true, right? So I know Trump looked at it. I'm sure he's gotten some type of reports on it, and hopefully they've all said to this man, hey, listen, bro, he's just talking for his country. There's not much of what was said that is relevant to us at all. We know that it's nonsense, period. Ignore it. It's just nonsense and posturing for his base, let's say, but ignore it because it's literally nothing. It was nothing for us at all in that statement, guys.
And the reality is that Israel really does control the skies over Tehran, and that is a huge blow to the Iranian regime. And so, I think that they really have to consider the fact that a majority of their air defenses have been wiped out by the Israeli military. And of course, their nuclear facilities have been, I would say, deeply destroyed or damaged. While they're going to continue to message and
Right.
use these propaganda talking
Right.
points, I think within the Iranian regime, certainly within the senior leadership ranks,
Yeah, they know. They're aware.
that they're going to have to come to the table with something.
Should anyone be making a determination as to exactly what happened, whether it's President Trump saying obliterated or you have Democrats saying that
Bro, the left is obsessed with total obliteration.
exactly what happened, whether it's President Trump saying obliterated or you have Democrats saying that they don't think that there's as much damage that has been made? Should anyone be making these statements because they are just learning from the preliminary intelligence?
Certainly no. I think part of gathering intelligence is to knit together a picture of how successful these strikes are. And that DIA assessment that came out a few days ago was an initial assessment. And
It
that
sure
is what is
was.
going to continue to build.
Oh, I see what they're doing here. The problem is that CNN were the ones who broke the story and basically dumped onto Trump, basically. And they specifically did that, and now they're trying to, for the most part, play catch up so he doesn't sue them.
The intelligence community is going to continue to use signals intelligence, human intelligence, to get a better picture of how successful these strikes are. Now, of course, the DIA assessment was leaked, and that has, of course, been a point of friction with this administration and others. But I think at the reality, at the end of the day, and hearing from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, these strikes were a huge success. I don't think you can just dismiss that. Our military conducted an incredible operation. There was damage to these facilities, but how much damage, I think, remains to be seen. And that's what this battle damage assessment is going to be ongoing for a while.
The question is over the degree
they're trying not to get sued.
of success that for the U.S.
played,
that
CNN.
happened in Iran. Thank you so much, Sabrina Singh. Really appreciate you.
Lawmakers have received a briefing about the state of Iran's nuclear program following the U.S. strikes on the nuclear facilities. Lawmakers seem split down party lines about how much damage was actually done.
It still appears
Of course.
that
Split down party line?
back the
Come on,
Iranian
guys.
nuclear program by a handful of months.
We've caused catastrophic damage to Iran's nuclear program.
Based on what I heard, is Iran continues to be a threat.
Obliterated is a good word for me to use.
All right, guys. Okay. So obviously this is going to be massively split down party lines, with the left saying anything within their power, let's say, to discredit Trump from this absolutely spectacular mission, let's say, that started 15 years ago. It's interesting that Obama did this, right? Let's just start out by saying that right there. We got to give credit kind of where it's due specifically. He was one that basically started it. It happened during the deal that they had with Iran, right? But Trump was the one who basically pulled the trigger on this. So this is a great collaboration between Trump and Obama. Well played, guys. Right? Partisanship. Yes. Can we get out of the echo chambers for a second? But obviously the people that were just speaking here towards the end are completely inundated with their echo chamber. They cannot. There's nothing that is allowed to basically enter into them that does not exist within their echo chamber. So obviously the left is saying that, this was not as crazy, but then obviously, they also then got all in trouble for the most part for just sucking up onto this leaked information that only came from senior executives. You get what I'm saying here, guys? So probably one of them, most likely were the ones who leaked this information. Let's just be honest here. Then obviously Trump's side, the Republicans are saying total obliteration, total annihilation, strength. I mean, listen, guys, there's no joke here, right? They dropped multiple 30,000-pound MOPs on top of this structure. No chance. Okay. So when we start talking about total obliteration, yeah, bro. I mean, yeah. Can we see it? No. But do we know? Oh, yeah. Right. And there were multiple redundancies here because, again, they fired multiples into the ground. Right. And when it hit the ground, it started drilling into the ground. and then exploded underneath the ground. Guys, understand what's happening here. Total obliteration is probably not even the accurate descriptor in this context here. We need something worse than that. All right. But all right, listen, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. In the meantime, I'll catch you guys later.